Welcome everyone, and if you're joining in as a part 2 and you've already seen part 1 of this repair series, then you'll know that in today's video we are going to be getting the repaired areas on this bumper sanded, getting the whole thing prepped for paint, and actually doing the painting. So without further ado, let's get into it. So checking in after doing that work, and this is what we're left with. So the wire mesh is melted into the plastic of the bumper, spanning across the crack lines. And then I have this adhesive plastic that is kind of melted over the top of that mesh, just to kind of hold everything all together. I also went ahead and recreated a couple of these little tabs and slots that were ripped out from the impact. And none of this is pretty, but it doesn't need to be, and honestly it's not even necessarily supposed to be. But what it is it is strong, it is tough, I can twist it, pull it, and it wants to hold together, so that's great, that's what I want. And that pretty much does it from the repair side of things. So the repair itself is done, everything's together, everything's holding, it's as strong as it's going to be at this point. So the next thing to do is I'll flip this over and we'll talk about what we got going on in the front. So on the front here, the actual part that people are going to be able to see, I have gone already with some 80 grit over some of the repairs that I have done, just leveling them out, getting rid of some of the highs and lows in some of these areas. And I did go and just add these areas right here. This wasn't cracked all the way through. It was more or less just kind of like a crease, but I didn't want to leave it up to chance, so I went ahead and cut a groove over both of those areas, laid some plastic in it, so I need to sand that smooth as well. But then I'm going to go over everything with like a 120 grit, and after doing that I will put some body filler over all these areas, sand that smooth, and just kind of rinse and repeat as needed, just to make sure all these surfaces are nice and flat and smooth, because I'm going to be painting this with black paint, and any imperfection is going to be easily spotted by doing that. So on one hand it's a little stressful, but on the other hand, you know, it forces you to just take your time, do a good job, pay attention to detail. So we'll see how it all turns out, but that's what I'm going to jump into next. So let's get started. Alright, and then here we are ready for paint. So everything has been sanded, it has been washed, wiped down with alcohol. I'm going to put some adhesion promoter on the bare plastic areas, and then some filler primer over some of the body filler areas. Once that's done its thing, I'll go ahead and start doing the base, and then come back with the clear. Alright, so a couple of things. One, I am not a professional. Not that anyone was confusing me of being one. But then two, with the clear coat and an aerosol, it's really hard to get that to lay down nice and smooth just because it doesn't atomize quite the same way. So the bumper could benefit from a cut and buff, but I want to give that at least a few days before trying to do it, just to make sure everything's fully cured, fully hardened up, doesn't get all gummy trying to sand on it or something. So like I said, could benefit, but I'll go ahead and show you what it's looking like now, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Alright, and this is what we're working with after the base and clear coat. And like I said, it could benefit from a cut and buff, but honestly, this really isn't that much far off from what you would get like from factory, for example. So I'm probably going to leave it alone. Now, there are a few little dust nibs and trash and things that are in there, so that's unfortunate, but I can take care of those separately. But I'll probably end up just leaving the whole thing alone, just to, you know, not mess something up that's not too broken, you know. And so all in all, I'm really happy with the way it turned out, especially considering that this, you know, was my first time doing something like this, doing this repair, doing a full color change of something. And in that respect, I really can't complain too much. And what's awesome is this whole bumper, upper and lower grille, fog light, splitters, all of it was only $200. So being able to salvage the bumper is a huge win, and I'm happy. Okay, so after a ton of sanding and hard work, we have a repaired and painted bumper. In the next video, we will be tackling the actual install, and that may be something that some people are only interested in that video anyway, who are actually doing this GT500 front-end conversion. So in that video, I'll be sure to mention all the parts that you'll need, how to actually do the install, and we'll add in a few fun bits as well. So if you're interested in that or anything else that we might get up to on this channel, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.